This is the Getting Into Alignment podcast. Here we play in the quantum world of possibilities. If you desire it, you get to have it. My name is Alexa Ray Smith. I'm a business coach and spiritual teacher for women in business. I'm here to help you unlock your personal power and tap into your magnetism so that you can manifest the most incredible life for yourself and build the business of your dreams. These episodes will help you plug into the energy of infinite potentiality and teach you the tools you need to play in this world where limitations don't exist. On this podcast, I'll be talking to you about energetics, mindset, embodiment, spirituality, money, and business. Everything that you want is on the other side of you getting into alignment. Hello, beautiful angels. Welcome back to the Getting Into Alignment podcast. I'm your host, Alexa Ray Smith. I am so excited to have you here with me today. So I wanted to come on here because last night I had the most epic conversation with a woman in my world. She had asked me to come on and teach 2 classes for her membership. And we were talking last night about meditation. And what came through was completely channeled magic. Like, I truly could not even have tried to conceptualize that. Like, if I were to write down an hour-long speech, it could have never been that good and that potent. And what that boils down to is the fact that, and the ability that I've worked on over the years of being able to stop living in my head and instead dropping into my body. And I think this is a conversation, I know that this is a conversation that really isn't talked about enough in the spiritual community and in the business community. Like, these communities are kind of separated, but there's a little bit of overlap. I want to try and bridge them, so wherever you're at, like, there's still, though, not enough conversation about the importance of really being in your body. And that's why I was talking to her how when I started coaching, I really started in wellness. Like, I was a wellness and mindset coach. And it was because I had lived 22 years with an autoimmune disease, celiac disease. And when I found out that I had to be gluten-free, everything changed for me. My mental health changed, my body changed. It was so much easier for me to have a healthier body. I used to be overweight my whole life. I could never get rid of like my love handles. It was just like, I never understood, like, no matter what I did, I played sports my whole life, all of the things. And it was like, oh, diet is that important. Like, the food that you're eating is truly that important. Like, that I'm no longer suicidally depressed. And granted, like, I was at toxic gluten levels when I was diagnosed. So this is kind of an extreme case, but I would argue that a lot of the times when people are suffering mental illness, if we stopped automatically going to medicine, and if we first started looking at diet and habits and behavior, I truly believe that a lot of that could be cured. And not only with mental illness, but in our really, really busy, hectic societies that we have going on right now, where we're in these digital eras where we have so much information coming at us and it's go, 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 go all the time. And this hustle culture, which we're breaking down and breaking through into this new feminine energetics of business. But like, we can't deny that the hustle culture still exists and is still growing. So it's like, in order for us to really connect with ourselves, in order for us to connect with our power, in order for us to be able to actually live in our body, there's so many layers to this. And there's so many ways that I want to go with this, that like I've realized that this needs to be an entire program. And of course, if you're following me on social media, you saw that I launched my $1,000,000 a year membership, and the first program in that is called Habitual. And we are going to really be talking about the importance of your habits, especially as a business owner, who shares their energy with other people, who shows up online. There's a lot that goes into that. It's a different world than the traditional business. And like having that separation of having a 9 to 5 where you can just kind of like walk out of, you walk into, like that's not the case when you enter a business like we are, like when you're the face of the business. So we're really going to talk and drill down on habits and look at the habits that are supporting like mind, body, soul, spirit, business, all of those things. Soul and spirit, same thing. You know where we're going. All of that, like that's really what we're going to talk about. So I don't want to talk about habits as much today, but I do want to talk about some of the other layers of the fact that if you're a woman listening to this and I tell you that you really need to be able to drop into your body, there is an elephant in the room that, frankly, a man would never address. And I think because women have lived so long just dealing with it, quote unquote, that it's not discussed very often either. And that is the fact that as women, we have always been told whether our bodies are right or wrong, or whether they're small enough, whether they're good enough, whether they are sexy enough, whether they are attractive enough to another man, whether our hair is the right length, whether our body is the right weight, whether we're the right height. Women have been ripped to shreds and picked apart, and we still arguably are, even though I would like to say that we are headed in a better direction. We can't deny that our programming is to not feel safe in our bodies, because as women, you were probably told, or as a girl, you were probably told many things about your body that made you feel like, what can you do? Because I remember when I was young and overweight and I played all of the sports and, I did the things and I still couldn't lose the weight. It was like, what can I do though? You know what I mean? Like, I can't do anything about this. I'm doing everything I can. This is just my body. So I just have to shame my body and hate myself because I can't change it. Like, there are things that are out of our control. And one thing that I really wish that we would start doing is just being able to love ourselves and love our body, and teaching these younger generations that they get to love themselves and love their bodies. So in order for you as a female, and for me as a female, to tell you that one of the most important things and skills that you can cultivate, not only in business, but in life, is for you to drop into your body. We need to have a conversation about your body and your relationship to your body, because if you don't feel safe in your body, if you are still saying horrible things about your body, if you still can't look at your body in the mirror and love it, if you still have a hard time loving yourself, and I'm not saying that any of this is easy. These are the things that we work through as humans, right? Especially when we've been told one thing and it's the complete opposite. I don't care who you are, or where you're from, or where you've come from. You're absolutely beautiful inside and out, and your body is perfect. And I, of course, still have imperfections that, that will always get to me. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but I am saying that this work of coming home to yourself and feeling like you are a home. For so long of my life, I was searching for some place that felt like home. And yes, you could say that it was because of the trauma in my childhood, or you could say it's because I have a Cancer moon and we're really big on home lives, or you could say so many things. But what it comes down to, what I have known it to truly be when you get down to the root of it, was that I never felt at home in my body. I never felt at home with myself because I was always attacking myself in my mind, like attacking my body, and then not treating my body well because I had this bad relationship with it. So like I feel you. I feel you if you're still there, or remnants of that are there, because will we ever be able to truly work through all of it? I honestly don't think so. I think it'll always still be there. There'll be a little twinge of it just because of the programming, and just because society is still saying these things, and insecurities do exist, and I think it's okay. Like, I think that's okay, but can we do it in a loving way? Can we still look at ourselves and love ourselves in the mirror? Can we still feel safe in our bodies and being in our bodies? Can we actually do the mindset work so that way we aren't that negative person who's always ripping ourselves apart, but like instead we're our own best friend, so that when things aren't going well on the outside, when it seems like there is chaos in our external world, when we can go inward and truly be the calm, because we've created this relationship with ourselves that allows going inward to be a sanctuary, going inward to be sacred, for it to actually be this serene oasis that we get to go to escape the chaos of the outside world. It's this big dramatic shift, and for me truly life changing, when I stopped trying to run from the chaos within, which only led to more chaos, let's be honest. And instead, I faced the chaos within and made peace with it, and continue to do this on the daily and do my best to make peace with all parts of it, so that I can sit with myself, feel safe with myself, be alone, and not only be like, okay, like I can be alone for 2 hours. I'm a 4-6 in human design, people. Like, I thrive when I am around people. I love being around people. Like, I am like, whoo, I come online when I am around other people. And I have developed this beautiful sense of really valuing my relationship with myself, so much so that I'm not willing to risk my relationship with myself to put myself in situations with people, places, and things that really aren't best for me and where I'm going and the work that I'm doing. And does that mean that I'm alone more time? Yeah. And right now I'm absolutely loving it. Like, I can truly tell you that I'm absolutely loving it. I'm exploring the depths of my soul and my being to such a level. And that's not to say that I'm not around people ever and I don't have amazing conversations, and I don't, like, my amazing conversation yesterday is what sparked this whole thing. But there's just this really beautiful new level of peace that you are able to obtain, and not just like obtain like it's something outside of you that you had to work to get, but like a state within you that once you've learned to cultivate, you can keep cultivating. And it's like, once you just keep coming home to that and practicing it, which is really what meditation allows you to do, right? And that's why meditation sparked this whole thing. But when you have this calmness, when you have this stillness, you harness it and sharpen that through meditation. And just like with anything, the repetition of it makes it so you become a master at it. Meditation isn't easy at first. Listen to my building a meditation routine. I believe it's the second podcast episode if you are looking to do that. But once you meditate, it's not about just meditating and having this sense of calm and this bliss while you're meditating, but it's, can you carry that with you, knowing that you're a 5D spiritual being who is living in a 3D world. And the second that you interact with mostly anyone or anything, there's a chance that you might go back to that opposite and acting like a 3D human in a 5D world. And that's what most people are operating in the matrix paradigm. But when you flip that and you get into the vortex, then that's when you're connected to your essence, like your soul being. As Abraham Hicks always says, your human body is only a small portion of who you are. And that can be said in so many ways. The tattoo on my arm, it says, I honor the divinity that resides within me. There is this divine connection that we all have. And it's so much bigger than words, but you can feel it when I speak of it, and I can feel it. And that channel opening, when you connect to that and being able to connect to that channel, again, comes back to, we have to be grounded. And grounding means being in our body, and being in our body means feeling safe to be in our body, having regulated our nervous system so that we can feel safe, having done the mindset work so we can be with ourselves. If it's required, even the mirror work, like, it sounds so silly, but if you've never looked in the mirror and told yourself that you love you, then you're constantly relying on other people to tell you that they love you, and you're the one that cultivates the love. Like, no one else can give you love that's sustainable and lasting forever. You have to give it to yourself. So of course, like, there's a lot of personal development work in all of this, and this is why I said, like, there's so many layers and multifaceted approaches to this, and so many ways that I could take this. And we've already gone on a journey. Like, if you haven't already picked up on this, if you listen to these podcasts, if you're ever in conversation with me, I go through all of the places. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast yet, but I said it last night to her, so I'll say it again. I had this coach tell me that I was working with, that I hired like a year ago, and I wanted to try and work with a male coach. And so I hired a male just to, see. I worked with a few males last year, actually. So anyway, and he told me, he was like, Alexa, I don't think that you understand that you are able to seamlessly tie together all of these different topics and put them together in a way that, like, no one else does. And it's because I'm constantly always learning. So I've learned astrology, I've learned personal development, I've learned human design, I've learned mindset, I've learned the subconscious, I've learned the spirituality, I've learned the energy. I've spent so many freaking years of my life learning. And for so long I was like, well, I can't just come on here and just like talk about all these things that I've learned. And I was like, what? Why not? Because these are the podcasts that I listen to when it's women or men having these like really epic conversations about topics that like aren't talked about enough. And I find that we're really so good at trying to compartmentalize things. And that's how a man's brain is wired. Like, it's literally wired to be able to compartmentalize. But as a woman, And I would argue, as an Aquarius who has a stellium in Aquarius, like I cannot compartmentalize anything. Like the you from the whole, like I can't. Like when I was a supervisor at the state of New York, you'd always hear me be like, no, I'm standing up for my people. Like I would always be the one taking the hits, like because I'd be doing it for like the greater good of humanity. And I mean, I was a public servant, so like arguably I feel like that's what like you should be doing. I feel like that's what you want your public servants doing, fighting for the greater good of humanity. I don't know, maybe I was like too souped up on superhero fantasies because it didn't work. But that's okay. I feel like this information though is for the people, and I'm not able to compartmentalize it. And as women, we aren't able to compartmentalize all of these things. So if when I start talking about meditation with another woman, all of these topics start coming channeled through to me, that tells me that it's not just me and this woman that have had all of these different layers that they've had to work through to be able to meditate or to be able to have a connection with themselves. And one of the main reasons why I went here too is because a lot of the times I get asked, how do I connect with my intuition? And a lot of women I find struggle connecting with their intuition. So all of the previous conversations like are also valid when we talk about intuition, because where does your intuition live? It lives in your body. When we talk about human design, it's your splenic center, right? And that's the oldest form of like sense that we had as humans, is our intuition. But we've been so programmed as a society to do everything so cerebrally, to be so heady about it. We're always in our head. And because of that, we've become disconnected with our bodies, with everything said like before about that, like all of that. And we're just not living in our bodies anymore. We're not living in the present moment. We're not able to really drop into our body so that way we can feel into these like our desires really. And it's so interesting because, you know, I'll always say human design, one of the biggest things it's trying to get you to do is to get out of your head and into your body. And nobody has an authority in their head. Like your brain isn't meant to make decisions. Your brain isn't meant to be used the way that we're using it, as society has taught us to, as humans have taught us to. And when we learn to come into our body and master living there comfortably and being able to open up our channel so that way we can meditate and receive downloads and move with our intuition and take these inspired actions and manifest these really incredible lives, because we've lifted our frequency and lifted our vibration. Like, you see how it's all connected there. Like, it's not, we can't keep separating these things and having like such a segregated conversation. It can't be separate. We need to start talking about all of the things. I get that you want to have a business and you want to be a multimillionaire, and what's your relationship to your body? Like, because these are the conversations, why I didn't want to call myself a business coach for so long, even though I spent so many years of my life learning business. But like, could I have these conversations with women? Would they take me seriously if I was like, okay, yeah, so I want to help you grow your business. So what's your relationship with your body? You're like, so how often do you connect with your intuition? Have you heard of human design? Do you follow your authority often? You know, like, were these conversations I could have. And now I understand that, like, if I want to be an Aquarian leader, like the Aquarian leader I was born to be, I need to stop trying to look at what's been done and realize that I need to just innovate. And that means trusting that if I have gone through all of these depths and all of these layers to be able to grow professionally and personally, that this is what we need to do as 5D humans, like holy humans that are really bridging the gap from this 3D way of life to this 5D paradigm, which I truly believe this is what we're doing now. And if you're here, like, you're absolutely a part of it, no matter what level you think you're at right now. Like, you're here, we're going, this is beautiful, like, it's a miraculous time to be alive. Turn off the news, don't listen to them, because like, it's never been a more beautiful place, and like, you've never had more opportunities, and everything is so incredible. But it's always going to come back to your relationship with you and your body and yourself, because every other relationship is going to be a mirror. And that's in business too, not just in your personal life. So I'm going to leave this one here because I just realized we're at like 25 minutes and I've just been like going, and the lawnmower is starting outside. The lawn guys are back. I thought they finished for the day. So I'm going to leave this here. Again, if you want to learn more about like habits to cultivate healthy habits, so that way you can build the multi-million-dollar business, so that way you can start having these really high income months and not burn out, and really have a good relationship with yourself, and make sure that your health is a priority, because in my world, like, that's one of the biggest priorities. That's how you can have the successful business, is you have a successful relationship with yourself and you have healthy habits to build the masculine strategies that you need to support the feminine based energetic business that you desire. And if you want to join that, the entire membership, join $1 Million a Year membership, that is going to give you, so basically it's $88 a month if you join $1 Million a Year. And then the master classes, habitual right now is 111. It will be going up to 222. If you join $1 Million a Year, you'll get all 12 master classes for $88 a year. And these master classes are all of the things, all of the different layers that we need to talk about for you to really have a multi-million-dollar business, to have that $1 million business. If you're claiming 2023 as the year that you have $1 million in business, these are the things. These are the things that you need to know. These are the things you need to do. These are the conversations we're going to be having. So if you want to get into my world deeper, there's always mentorship. You get all of the things in mentorship while you're in there with me. You get access to all of my programs. So everything that we've talked about. DM me on Instagram if you want to get in. They are really going with the lawnmowers now. So I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're ready to go deeper and to get into my world, you can go to my website, alexaraysmith.com. You'll find all of my current programs on there. If you're desiring to get mentored by me, then the best thing to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram, and we can talk about mentorship options and which one's the best fit for you. If you're absolutely loving this podcast, please go rate it 5 stars and let me know why you're loving it. This will help me share the podcast with more people. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And until the next episode, keep manifesting the most incredible life.